Today on Deep Dive, we're going to be looking at Marvel Comics Avengers number 32. Can the Avengers stop the Sons of the Serpent? Find out in today's issue. Hello everyone, my name is Devin, also known as DH Artist, and welcome back to my Deep Dive series. Today we'll be continuing the adventures of Earth's mightiest heroes, the Avengers, and if you missed my deep dive coverage of their other issues, I'll link to them in the video description below. Today's deep dive was inspired by a suggestion I received from one of my viewers, Kwame Kamgia. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Thank you, Kwame, for your support. And remember, if there's a particular issue or comic you'd like me to flip, drop it down in the comments section and you might just see it featured on my channel. Now, even though this can be viewed on your phone or computer, try casting it onto your TV so you can really see the detail and quality of the book. With each issue, you can expect their conditions to vary. While today's book is in nice condition, there does appear to be an ad page missing between pages 4 and 5, along with 2 mysterious cuts on page 5. Thankfully, the story is intact, and there's nothing to detract from the artwork. If you enjoy these types of videos and want to see more content like it, check out some of my other deep dives. I've covered issues like Justice League of America number 4, Amazing Spider-Man number 68, Detective Comics number 359, and Captain Marvel number 2, pitting the space-born superhero against the villainous Super Skrull. For a complete list of my videos, visit the organized playlists on my channel. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a single video. Avengers number 32 was published in September of 1966. Editor-in-chief was Stan Lee, cover artist was Don Heck. The story, titled The Sign of the Serpent, was written by Stan Lee, penciled and inked by Don Heck, colored by Stan Goldberg, and lettered by Artie Simek. The book consists of 32 pages with a cover price of 12 cents. Having recently traveled to South America to rescue Goliath and defeat the Keeper of the Flame, our story today begins as the Avengers return home. But upon entering their headquarters, they're met by the automatic intruder alarm, causing our heroes to duck and dodge the dangerous security measures. Thankfully, Captain America and Hawkeye quickly deactivate the alarm. With the security system disabled, our heroes proceed inside. Unable to return to normal size, Goliath is asked by Cap to retake his position as leader of the Avengers. But when he declines, insisting that he'd be no help to them, stuck in his giant state, Cap tries to snap him out of it by using a mix of reverse psychology and a little bit of brute force. Eventually listening to reason, Hank vows to stay with the team, while continuing to look for a solution to his size-changing dilemma. Leaving the Avengers to enjoy some peace and quiet, we cross over to another section of the city, and find a racist gang, known as the Sons of the Serpent, beating up an innocent man, just because he's a foreigner. Too scared to intervene, neighbors watch helplessly from nearby apartment windows, leaving their victim unconscious in the alley. As a warning to other immigrants, the Serpents head to the rooftop, boarding a helicopter to return to their secret hideout. Meanwhile, at that secret hideout, we find their leader, the Supreme Serpent, addressing a crowd of new recruits. Now, here are those cuts that I mentioned at the beginning of the video. I'm not really sure where they came from, and thankfully they don't mess up the story or the art. As the Supreme Serpent explains his desire to drive foreigners from the country, standing unnoticed in the crowd is none other than Natasha, the Black Widow, and having heard enough of the Serpent's hateful ramblings, she decides that something must be done. Leaving the super spy and returning to Avengers headquarters, we find Hank and Janet working in their laboratory, but when Janet keeps getting in the way, Hank tells her to leave him alone, and when he tells her he's going to hire another scientist to help, Janet storms out of the lab, angry at Hank. Meanwhile, outside of Avengers HQ, rappelling from the rooftop is none other than the super spy herself, Black Widow, and with a few quick swings, she crashes into their headquarters, coming face to face with Hawkeye. Attempting to convince him that she's really there to help, she insists that she can be trusted, and that all she wants to do is aid the Avengers. Leaving the skeptical Hawkeye, we return to Hank Pym. Unable to find a single qualified biochemist to aid him, Hank reaches out to Tony Stark to see if he knows of anyone who can help. Luckily, Tony knows just the man for the job, and a short time later, the scientist Bill Foster arrives at Hank's laboratory. As the two scientists work together, the hours speed by, and even though the results have proven negative so far, Hank remains optimistic. Coming in to check on them, Janet introduces herself to Bill, all the while hoping to herself that they'd soon find a way to return Hank to normal size. Meanwhile, half a world away, in a Balkan laboratory, we find Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, having just completed a dithermetric treatment to help them regain their full powers. Now it'll only be a few weeks until they'll both be able to rejoin the Avengers. Leaving our duo to return to New York City, we find Bill Foster returning to Hank Pym's laboratory, but before he can make his way inside, he's stopped by the Sons of the Serpent. Refusing to leave the neighborhood and never return, the Sons of the Serpent knock Bill out. They then place a serpent-shaped stake in the ground next to him to act as a message of fear, warning others who are foreign or have different colored skin to stay away. Hearing the sound of approaching footsteps, the goons flee, and as Bill regains consciousness, Goliath arrives on the scene. As Bill explains what happened, Goliath spots the Serpent helicopter as it disappears into the sky. Then helping Bill to his feet, they make their way back to Avengers headquarters, where Goliath addresses the team, explaining this new threat. Agreeing that something must be done, Cap heads out to contact Nick Fury, for if anyone would have a dossier on the Sons of the Serpent, it's S.H.I.E.L.D. Minutes later, in his civilian disguise, Steve Rogers enters a seemingly ordinary barbershop, but before he can announce himself, the barber pushes Steve into a chair. He then flips a switch that sends Steve, chair and all, falling through a wall panel into a secret back room. Springing into action, Cap sheds his disguise, only to be greeted by Fury and his men. As Cap discusses his mission with Fury, Nick explains that S.H.I.E.L.D. has been quietly tracking the Serpents. Conceding that him and his team are a little busy with AIM, Fury greenlights Cap and the Avengers to engage the belly-crawling creeps at their discretion. Cap then reviews their files before returning to headquarters. A short time later, outside the United Nations, we join a demonstration in progress, protesting the imminent arrival of General Chen, a guest scheduled to speak at the UN. But just as his motorcade pulls up to the building, a strange ray shoots earthward, completely destroying an empty taxicab. With the ray nearly destroying General Chen's car, he chastises the police for failing to provide decent security. A few hours later, Cap and the rest of the Avengers hold a press conference, declaring war on the racist Sons of the Serpent. Then, from their top-secret headquarters, the Supreme Serpent accepts the Avengers' challenge, confident that if he can capture any one of the Avengers, the team will fall, for their loyalty to each other will be their undoing. A short time later, as Cap and Hawkeye search the rooftops for clues to where the Serpent's hideout might be, the mysterious ray strikes again, this time surrounding Cap with an invisible force, pulling him into the air. Watching helplessly as Cap is drawn into the clouds above him, Hawkeye is too far away for his arrows to do any good. Some of the fun advertising found within this issue is an ad for 200 World War II toy soldiers for only $1.98. There's a full-page ad for H.H. Ward's hair growing tonic, guaranteed to work or double your money back. There's an ad to order a variety of U.S. government surplus direct by mail. And near the back, there's an ad for kids to order 3 complete fishing outfits for only $12.95. Shortly after entering the cloud, Cap finds himself aboard a state-of-the-art airship, specially designed to look like a cloud, concealing the enemy vessel. Ignoring their orders to throw down his shield, Cap deflects a few ray blasts aimed in his direction. But when the floor begins to spin like the coils of a snake, Cap becomes disoriented and quickly blacks out. But when the henchmen try to secure him, he surprises them by pretending to be unconscious, easily throwing them aside. Though Cap fights valiantly, he's quickly surrounded and taken prisoner. Meanwhile, back at Avengers headquarters, the team begins to formulate a plan to rescue Cap. But when the rooftop alarm is triggered, they rush to investigate, finding a pre-recorded message shaped like a serpent, warning the Avengers if they want to see Captain America alive again, they have 24 hours to join the Sons of the Serpent. For once the public sees that the Avengers have joined their organization, everyone will want to be a serpent. And just as the recording stops, it self-destructs, leaving our heroes with no way to examine it for clues. With our heroes left pondering their next move, Goliath begins to offer up a plan, but before he can explain it, the telephone rings. Answering the phone, Hawkeye is greeted by the Attorney General, offering to help stop the Serpents, but from a legal angle. Goliath then asks Hawkeye to trust him, informing the AG that the Avengers are refusing to fight. And as this issue draws to a close, we leave the Attorney General concerned that the Avengers may support the Serpents. Have the Sons of the Serpent won? Will the Avengers join their organization to save Captain America? Find out in the next exciting issue. I hope you enjoyed this deep dive. If there's a particular issue or comic you'd like me to flip, drop it down in the comments section and I'll see if I can add it to my poll box. If you enjoy these types of videos, please show your support by subscribing to my channel. As always, please consider liking and feel free to share this video. And until next time, deep divers, Thanks for watching.